the forms of return statement. A return statement is used to return the result of or the outcome of a function to the function which called it. So, this return statement can be expressed in several ways and it can return several different types of values. The most common type is return and within parentheses expression. This expression value is returned to the calling function. The value which is obtained as a result of evaluating that expression is returned to the calling function. If this expression within parentheses is omitted, the return statement does not return any value, it simply transfers control to the main function or the function which called it. What is a calling function and what is a called function has been seen in the last session. So, assuming that you understand the meaning for both, here is an example, return within parentheses. I am giving one expression a plus b plus c. Each of these is a variable, a is a variable, b is a variable and c is a variable. So, the value which is obtained as a result of adding these three variables is returned to the function which called this function. This is the most common type of return statements. A function may use one or more return statements. It is not necessary that if you are declaring a function and defining it, it should have only one return statement. There may be exceptional cases where because of some conditional expression, because of some evaluating expression, we may have to return more than one value depending upon the situation. So, that is most common with the use of these decision statements. So, here is an example where if the values a and b are evaluated, if a is greater we have to return a or we have to return b. The same is true for a switch case construct also. If the case 1 is true, then we have to return the value 1, and if the case 2 is true, we have to return the value 2. So, such exceptional conditions may occur where in a single function we may have more than one return statement, but the ultimate value that is returned is only 1 in number. The third type of return statement is return within parentheses ampersand p. We have seen this ampersand operator. It is used to hold or signify or identify the address that is held by a variable. So, this returns the address of this variable p to the calling function. The variable name is given here only as an example. The next type is return within parentheses pointer variable p. Now, we have still not seen what are pointers. A pointer is nothing but it holds the value of an address or the value of the variable that is stored at a particular memory location. So, here if I give pointer p, it means p is an address, p represents an address. The pointer variable is used to extract the value which is stored in that address. So, here this return statement will return the value which is stored at that particular address which is pointed to by p. The last type is the return within parentheses. You have sqrt is nothing but a square root function. Inside that you have an argument. So, here if you see the square root of r is a function by itself. So, this return statement is returning a function. So, how will this be evaluated? Here the control from the return statement first goes to the function square root of r. In square root of r, certain statements will be defined. We all know sqrt of r will return the square root of a number. So, if I give square root 81, it will return the number 9. So, this number will be returned as the value. So, this expression will be equal to return 9. So, the number 9 will be returned to the function which called this function. So, this is how a function also can be passed as an argument in a return statement. So, these are the most commonly used types of return statements and their values. Another possibility with the return statement is where we can call a function. In addition to that, we can do type conversion also. We all know what is type conversion. When we explicitly change the data type of a particular value or variable. So, here we have return, within parentheses we are having float. Within that we are having a function square and I am passing one value. So, how will this be evaluated is, first the function square of 2.8 will be executed. So, square of a function means 2.8 will be multiplied again by itself. So, we will get the square of the number. The number should be explicitly returned in the float data type, that is it should not take just the integer value and return it to the function. We want the answer in the float data type with the exact decimal and fraction. So, that is the reason we are explicitly converting that square of 2.8 into a float and we are returning the value. So, this also is permissible in the C language. See, all these are all that is permitted in C language. Depending upon our application and our need, we can modify these statements and use only those kinds of expressions which are required for us. It is not necessary that because they exist we have to compulsorily use them in our programs. It is all available. It is up to us to use them to our benefit when we program. Then we have something called void functions. It is not necessary that every function should return some value. Sometimes we may print the value of that result of that function in the function itself. In such cases, a function need not have a return statement. So, there we should explicitly mention that those functions are called void, that is they do not return any value, they return simply null. So, such functions are called void functions. So, these are the different types of return statements available in C.